fixing the praises. Even the fixing the praises. Even the fixing the praises.
WEFM, a clean, fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WeFM 99.9 is on now.
And the time here in SVG, it is 9:28. So we have roughly about 15 and 2, 17 minutes in our Talk to Us segment for today. It is an open forum. So you can call us if you wish to discuss anything that we spoke about earlier this morning. Could even be last week. All right. Anything that we talked about, you can do so by calling number 457-9997. All right. This is the segment for you as listeners to get even more interactive with us by posing a brand new question to us or commentary on something that we spoke about before. All righty. So giving you 5 seconds before Rajiv and I start talking. All right, I think that 5 seconds up. All right, so you can always call in between our discussion, but yeah. So Rajiv and I were having an off-air conversation about saving, right? And what exactly you say? Oh, you're saying that persons would save.
Given the current global situation, and if you want to take it down to the local landscape, I think you can't afford not to save. Okay. And then you made the argument of...
And then I made the point of saying sometimes you just cannot afford to save.
Then I said, you must be able to save something, even if it's a little. And you might not be able to save the same amount every month. But once you put something into that savings, whether it be an account at the bank or a literal piggy bank, you know, you put something there and it will add up and you have that discipline not to touch it. And then there's going to come a time, maybe even that they got higher than you expected, and you could take something from that saving and supplement your monthly amount to carry that up.
So what it is, I agree that we should all be striving to save, right? I have known of instances where I've had budget down to the very last cent, right? And there was nothing extra that I can squeeze out. And there are many persons who find themselves in that same circumstances, that same situation where there isn't anything left that they can save. And this is not even to say that you have people who necessarily like bad spending money, right? Or they squandering or they gallivanting the money. It's just that there are some persons who find themselves in certain situations where saving is just impossible, right?
And I can understand that, but there also exist those people who they don't know how to discern the necessary from the unnecessary expenses. They have something, they might have a subscription to some sort of online service or something, and because I have it, I have to keep having it. But then the money from that could be shifted towards your savings, or maybe you're on a plan that is a certain amount. Maybe you can carry it down to let me use Netflix as an example. You might have a big family plan for Netflix, and that costs you say 20 US or so. I can't remember the price raised so many times I can't remember. Maybe you don't need to be having a family plan. Maybe you just need one screen. You could pay I think it's 6, you jump from 20 US down to 6 US, and then that money now could be shifted to savings.
I mean, I know there are some persons who go through their entire life not having savings, and it's not because they didn't want to. It's just the circumstances of their life, especially persons who, let's look at the case of single parents, right? Whether it's a single mother, or a single parent mother or father, you know, it's like, how do you try to balance it enough? You balance your budget enough to even try to squeeze out something, right? I know that, you know, there's always this joke that men say women always have, even if a woman says she doesn't have, because, you know, like a $20 might be tucked away in her purse or something. Because she ain't had no money, but she always has something tucked away. But I think what happens is it might just take one incident or one unexpected situation to come up and take all the savings that you have, and you find it, you catch your royal to be able to try to start back again. All right, we have a call coming through.
Good morning, caller.
Morning. Very low. Don't know if you're hearing me properly.
We are.
Loud and clear.
Right, I'm listening to your discussions, and I want to throw my 2 pennies worth in here. Some time ago, I called and I mentioned about home economics. Well, that has to come to the forefront of Vincentian's mindset, because this war, which has created the problem as it relates to electricity and fuel, is beyond the control of any government, any Caribbean government, any country in the world. It's 2 people responsible for the position we're in right now, and that's Donald Trump and Netanyahu. And I'm looking at the developments here. There seem to be some sort of closing in on an agreement, but as we all know, agreements only go into force if Donald Trump agrees with it. And from what I'm hearing, from as it relates to whatever agreement they're discussing right now, is for 60 days. And that is he being tactful because he has a midterm elections coming up.
Yeah.
And he wants the gas prices to go down. So we can only hope that Iran agrees to that deal, but then I am not very optimistic about that, because Iran has been very strategic throughout this whole war. And they know that anything that is going to help Donald Trump, they ain't on that. So what Vincentians have to do, instead of jumping on Facebook and every day, all the time consumed in politics, this, politics, that, is to use that time and present some sort of, have some home economic plan, how you're going to go forward, because this ain't going to get better. And there is a phrase that says, nobody wins a war. But Donald Trump, he don't understand that. So brace yourselves.
But there was something ironic that I heard, yes, because I was listening to the news yesterday morning, and Trump was condemning the oil companies. I think ExxonMobil was one that was mentioned, and so forth. But
Chevron
right,
was one.
Was because they've made, one of them in particular, I think, made $12 billion profit, I think, since the war started, or something to that effect. And Trump was telling them that they need to pass on some of this money back to the consumers, or something to that effect, right? But I'm there chuckling because I'm there saying, did Trump just take himself completely out of this entire situation?
That's what he does.
You did not
But he's probably making money from that.
Yeah, so I just found it interesting. So even in that, I really should have mentioned this in the earlier conversation with Life as well, in that the bigger companies, they are making a significant profit off of this war that is happening. And we here in the smaller islands, because we're not oil producers, we are feeling the entire squeeze because of it.
Exactly. And Trump is doing this to his benefit, his friends' benefit. That same Chevron company that Trump is talking about and demanding on the CEO to drop the prices is only because he's feeling the pinch. And that is just a public something for the news. Because that same Chevron company is one of the companies that Trump has deployed to Venezuela to
restart
reinstate
take over,
their oil drilling and production. So that is just, Donald Trump is the problem. He's a global problem. I say that without any fear, and I don't know what is going to happen going forward. But he needs he needs to vacate that seat. And it's only a matter of time, because they have a saying, God has only give you man so much they can bear. Right? And that's the hope we have to hope right now, because it ain't gonna get better. And even if he stop the war today, the amount of damage done in the Middle East is gonna take a few months for them to catch back up with their production. And Vinlec, people gonna lambaste Vinlec, but I don't know what most companies give you a period of times what they call for you to probably go into arrears with your account. I don't know what the arrangement is as it relates to Vinlec customer service, but I think, as persons were saying, there needs to be some injection from the Vinlec board / management to implement some sort of plan that can ease the burden. Most companies do it. Even if you have a mortgage and you find yourself in unforeseen circumstances, difficulties, you can call the mortgage company and ask for a mortgage holiday. 6 months, whatever period of time they allow you to. But then, of course, that is spread back out where you don't have to pay your mortgage for 6 months. But then your period of time that you would be expecting to finish that mortgage payment is then extended. But it's ways and means that companies have to help persons, because the world is not flat. It's not flat. It's not a flat playing field. So, you can have bumps in there, and companies recognize that. So I don't know if anybody has any information on, well, I know you, Larissa, you're probably a consumer of it. You probably know what the arrears period is for Vinlec as it relates to Vinlec offering.
I don't know what the arrears period is. I do know that personal standpoint, that if, let's say, I haven't made a payment for a month, I don't get disconnected that month, right? But I don't know if there is a ceiling for households in terms of, let's say, you can't exceed, let's say, $400, $500. I don't know if that's a ceiling, or if it has to be not making payments, let's say, for 3 months on a straight. I really don't know what is the criteria, or how do persons find themselves in that delinquent category to be disconnected. I'm not sure.
Well, what I would say here, however, is based on the projection going forward between now and the end of the year, I think Vinlec being is it a statutory company?
It is, yes.
Right. So it's partially owned by the government. And instead of, the government could only do so much, right? They don't produce oil. They have to import oil. And wherever they can have been trying to ease the burden, I think they have to put another gear in and have some discussions with the electricity board to sort of ease back on terms of the cutting off of electricity and probably customers. It's not every customer would find themselves in the same situation.
Okay.
But customers, I think the customer service department needs to have some open discussions with customers, because there is a database on each customer who consumes electricity,
Right.
and their payment record.
Correct. All right.
These are.
Yeah, we have another call coming.
I'm gonna finish now, because I know other people need to call, but I think that is a plan that something that the government and the Vinlec Electricity Board needs to look at.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
Thanks for calling. Good morning, caller.
Hello. Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
How you doing?
I
You
got.
all okay?
We are you.
All right. I don't understand. We're having some sort of forum at the present moment with Argyle International Airport, we sponsored, I think, through Sandals, and the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority. They say they're dealing with sustainability, innovation, and a number of other things. But the one thing, if I was a journalist and I wasn't there, I would have hauled the head of the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority and say, hey, what you really think this is? Neocolonialism? Why is it you're not allowing single-engine airplanes to carry passengers commercially? When England, France, all over the world, you can fly single-engine commercially, even to Union Island from France, from Martinique and Guadeloupe. The French can fly their caravans in. But we know, because of protectionism of LIAT, and I believe to the better part, Inter-Caribbean Airlines. Why are you protecting these people? Because right now, yes, airfare is pretty high, but a lot of these operators in St. Vincent, if they know, or when the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority decides to disband that rule, a lot of them gonna buy lighter airplanes. So you'll end up probably paying probably about $75 to $100 to go Union one way, or even a $150 return. All because right. It's single engine thing, and these aircrafts has proven themselves.
Okay,
so,
caller. Okay, so sometimes you touch on topics that I like have zero information on, right?
Okay,
and
well,
in this one in particular, with this one in particular, right? Did you try to contact the Civil Aviation Authority to find out what is the reason? Because you came on air with it, but did you try to find out what was the reason? And did you get an explanation for it?
We've been trying for the last 20 years. I have all the paperwork here. I have the names of the captains who've been trying, including ourselves. And all they're trying to do is to ensure that any operator around the Caribbean cannot buy a one-engine plane and start to use it to carry passengers. So basically, let's take this entity of WEFM. WEFM could actually have their own plane. They meet the regulations and they have it using as charter. They don't want that. The bigger heads don't want that. So basically, if you're leaving Union Island and you look on the airport wall, you will see a sign that tells you, flying on single engine commercially, you are at your own risk. It's not allowed by the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority. Well, it still goes on, no matter what, if you understand what I mean. But they need to regulate it. So if I was in this conference and I bring that up today, boy, the place, I would turn over the place with them today.
So why, caller? All right. Why aren't you at the conference? If you knew did you know about it beforehand?
Say again, please. I missed a few words there.
Right. Did you know? Is it a conference that you can attend as an individual? And if so, did you know about it beforehand? And if so, why aren't you attending?
No, I'm off island, and to really come off from where I am to go and deal with that will take me about a 3-day journey.
Okay.
If you understand, because obviously.
Do you have somebody who is attending who you can pose the question through them to the people?
Yes, I